The kid who was mad at God is back. You know, we ain't mad no more. We're partners.
Chris Garrett is a military chaplain for the U.S. Armed Services at Calvary Christian Center in Sacramento, California. His job is to minister to troops around the globe with a message of hope and provide moral support as they serve our country. But getting here has been a tough battle. For decades, this Vietnam vet was tormented with his past. His life was filled with anguish and pain. As a young teenager, he volunteered to go to Vietnam and serve with the 101st Airborne Infantry. It was a time when he had given up on his faith and trusted only in himself for survival. Because he felt his life was in shambles, God was his new enemy.
I used to read the Bible, find things that you weren't supposed to do, and then go out and do them, just to show him how mad I was.
After leaving that controversial war, he and other vets were met with protesters and demonstrations. And even though he was thousands of miles away from Southeast Asia, he relived that nightmare. He was especially devastated by the loss of his battle buddies.
Everybody was on the helicopter, and I jumped on the track, and we were lifting off, and I got hit in the leg. And I started to fall backwards off the helicopter. And Freddie reached out and grabbed me and pulled me in. And as he was turning, he took one on the side of the head. And nothing mattered after that. It just didn't matter.
After Vietnam, he settled in Sacramento and proudly pursued a life of crime.
Counterfeiter, bank robber, drug dealer, prostitute, thug. Went through 5 marriages.
Living across the street from the bus station as a drug dealer, he and a friend planned to murder one of his enemies.
I was just going to cave the guy's head in with a baseball bat and put him in a 55-gallon drum with holes and rocks and throw him in the river.
And then he happened to see Mike Murdock on Daystar Television with a surprising message for him.
Mike Murdock stopped and said that God had spoken to him about a man in Sacramento who was going to do something and that I shouldn't do it.
So he didn't. And then he started watching Faith Alive television, but he didn't know where Dr. Godot's church was. So he called Daystar Television and asked for a local church in Sacramento.
So they said, well, Calvary Christian Center. So the next morning I caught the light rail and walked out to Calvary Christian Center. I got here just when they were doing altar call. And I walked down to the altar and did the altar call. And that was September 6, 2003. I can't tell you what it did.
Well, what it did is helped launch his chaplain's ministry from Sacramento at Calvary Christian Center. He now services and supports troops and veterans around the world. So what used to torment him is now his ministry.
The Lord has blessed us with almost $300,000 worth of material that we've given out across the United States to different troops. We run 3 radio stations on the internet now. We broadcast about 16,000 soldiers 24 hours a day, Christian music, Pastor Godot's word. And this is where I belong. And I have no doubt in my mind that if it had not been for Faith Alive TV and Christian TV, I'd be dead now. I have no doubt. Faith Alive TV saved me, saved my kids, and that's all that matters.
On the next Stories of God's Great Abundance of Grace.
Shocking because me and nobody else expected me to get pregnant so young.
A teenage mom is pressured from family and friends.
A lot of my family wanted me to have an abortion because a lot of people were putting me down because nobody expected it of me, but I didn't expect them to treat me the way they did.
Plus, the teenage father who made the unusual decision to marry his young wife and support his new family. How they are now stepping out in faith and not looking back. That's next week on Stories of God's Great Abundance of Grace.